You already know, man, what's going on, man. You now tuned into the Unsportsmanlike talk show. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Make sure you go get your popcorn, whatever vice you got, you know what I mean? If you toking, if you drinking, whatever it is, man, you already know, man. I got my guy with me, Young Jersey, man. I got Doe Hefe, man, who is
What's
guest.
good?
If y'all haven't seen him, then, greet yourself real quick, Doe Hefe, so that way they can know.
What's good? You already know. It's still F. Nothing more, nothing less.
Nothing more,
No more,
nothing less. You
nothing
already
less.
know, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please make sure that y'all like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you will be notified when we go on live. This is the Unsportsmanlike talk show. Y'all know how we give it up, man. We about to get into the NFL week 14. Actually, week 14 just wrapped up. So we about to recap it right now. You already know. So we're going to start off with a banger. Everybody's been talking about it. It's been in the media right now. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Carolina Panthers. And even though the Philadelphia Eagles won the game, what's talked about the most is the tiff that's going on between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? A little bit of inside. Jalen Hurts is not, he didn't play well during that game. A.J. Brown gets frustrated, saying that, during the post-game interview that the passing needs to be better. BG also inserted himself after the after the post-game and gave his 2 cents on the incident. So what's been talked about more is the tiff that's going on between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. They're not talking about Saquon Barkley passing Shady McCoy rushing record, or they're not talking about the win. So what's your takeaways from the game? If not, what's your takeaways from the issues going on with the Philadelphia Eagles?
All right, first I want to say is that I had made I made a video talking about the game, and I was saying about a lot of this need to calm down dealing with Jalen Hurts, and I don't see the whole scenario of they put everything that's coming his way, and when it comes to the passing aspect of the game. But
Mm-hmm.
I sit back and I looked at some more. I watched more of the video, more of the clips. I looked at some more breakdowns between a lot of people that was talking about it, a lot of analysts, and a lot of stuff that I missed. And they were speaking on a lot of those passing plays. There was some passing plays that it was some receivers open, and
Right.
they was open, and he missed a lot of those type of passes, a lot of those key moments of passing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, cool. Now I can see, so I'm gonna clear that up. I can see the frustration. I can see why everybody looking at Jalen Hurts now. Yeah, he's definitely got to get better than seeing. I feel like what's going on with him. I kind of feel like that early in the season with all the turnovers and all the talk about his turnovers, and everybody coming in, and maybe the coaches was coming to him about the turnovers, because what I'm hearing a lot they want him to do, and I get it because you see a lot of quarterbacks doing it. They
Mm-hmm.
are pulling that ball, like they slinging it, they pulling it, like they not waiting. They are throwing in tight windows. They are throwing the ball in type of spaces, and that's what they are doing. They taking risks. Basically, a lot of these quarterbacks, you see a lot of quarterbacks taking risks and they getting it off.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the being on the same page with their receivers, they connecting with their receivers, so they getting it off right. But I'm gonna say this: I'm not gonna try to I'm gonna be quick, try to be quick, not too long with it. But I'm gonna use the example of that game. I forget what game it was. You could probably laugh and you could come in when Jalen Hurts threw the interception in the red zone when Devontae Smith. He thought Devontae Smith was going to cut over
Yeah.
inside the touchdown, but Devontae Smith did like a little around type of hook instead of coming in hard and box out.
Yeah. I remember the
And
game. I don't know the team that they played, but I remember exactly.
yeah. I forgot the team they played, and I think that was the Saints game. If I'm not too, if I'm too correct, I think that was the Saints game. I'm not sure, but that right there is the key example when I'm talking about. He threw that ball and he slinged that ball in the right area that he felt like Devontae Smith should have boom cut in and box out. If he would have angled that right and instead of coming like in an oval and he would have cut in strong and got the
Yeah.
ball, that would have been either the defender would have, it would have been a drop pass or it would have been a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing that early in the season. He was throwing the ball to places that he'll feel like his receivers should get it, but it
Mm-hmm.
was getting interception. He was taking risks, but it was getting interception because he was thinking that he was on the same page with his receivers, so he was doing that. But now that I think he's holding on to the ball and he's second guessing himself and he's not getting it out of his hand because I think that trusting his receivers kind of a lot. I want to make a controversy, but I think it kind of not so much, probably not not so much AJ Brown because he didn't have that much with him, but just overall, like dealing with him trusting and understanding, like, yo, I don't want to I don't want to risk these passes no more because I already got turnovers, and he's trying to wait. And he's trying to wait for bigger windows.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes waiting for bigger windows could be an issue. Sometimes you gotta throw your receiver over. You gotta trust your receivers, get that ball out of your hand. But I think that's the situation. So I'm gonna end it off. I kind of believe that is the reason why I passing is not the same. And then also Kellen Moore being inconsistent with the passing plays and calling plays. Like, and Kellen Moore is an overall good coach this year, but at times he could dog an offense out with his inconsistency, and Jalen Hurts being not comfortable and not trustworthy enough and not trusting himself to get that ball out of his hand and throwing his receiver open is the reason why we are looking at like that in our offense. Like, so.
Yeah, to basically go off of what you said as far as, he waiting for the big moment to throw wide receivers open and stuff like that. I feel like you got to have confidence in your arm as well. You got to have confidence in
Yeah.
So you just can't wait for the wide receivers to get wide open. At some point, you do have to play the quarterback position. Sometimes you got to take risks. I also feel like with us predominantly running the ball, we it's hard for Jalen Hurts to get in the rhythm of throwing the ball when we run the ball 1,000 times. And this one thing I want to say to AJ Brown is the fact that you and Devontae Smith has missed games. I saw both of them on the sideline arguing or going back and forth or whatever they were talking about. So it's when both of them missed games, we went right to the running game because that's all we could depend on. We didn't have AJ Brown on the other side at sometimes, and we didn't have a Devontae Smith at sometimes.
That's facts.
And Dallas Goedert. So the only thing we could depend on is either Jalen Hurts running the ball or Saquon Barkley running the ball. That's number one. Number two is the ultimate goal is it shouldn't be about stats. The ultimate goal it should be about winning. I heard somebody say this. They said, listen, Jalen Hurts said this in a press conference. I don't care. I don't listen. A win is a win. I don't care how my stats look. The ultimate goal is to win. So this is a team sport at the end of the day. If we're trying to get one thing accomplished, and if that's going to the Super Bowl, I don't care how we do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care how the Philadelphia Eagles do it. Another thing I want to say with BG is that I felt like BG kind of spoke out of line, even though I understand that, it may be some truth behind what he's saying. I feel like now you gave the media more ammunition to start poking the bear, start pointing fingers at certain players. Now it's to the point where Shannon Sharps of the world, they doing videos. The facility, they doing videos. Now all of these media publications and outlets is doing videos over something that could have been handled behind closed doors. If you do have a problem with your quarterback, if you do have a problem with whatever the case may be, you handle that in the locker room. You don't give the media ammunition to start poking. And that's exactly what happened. They've been baiting AJ Brown for 2 weeks. They've been baiting him with these type of questions for 2 weeks. And you know what you did? You caved in, and now you gave them ammunition to start poking. So I don't think that this will have a long-term effect on the team. You know what I mean? I just think that we need to straighten out some things. And I do want to see Jalen Hurts trust himself as far as throwing, because it's a lot of times when I went back to review the game, and I'm about to end it, AJ Brown was open a lot. I saw it. I saw a couple of wide receivers that was open, and I saw him holding the ball for too long. So he got to start trusting himself. Listen, if you turn over the ball, cool. You got to trust your ability, and you got to trust you being a football player to actually handle that and come back with poise. It's okay. It's okay to it's okay to throw the ball. So hopefully he can learn from that. Hopefully he can learn from that. We got some other good games around the board, man. What good games had what is the most not the most. What game surprised you during this week? What game surprised you, whether it was a win or whether it was a loss? And for me, I think it was the Buffalo Bills and how they lost to the Rams.
I was about to say the same thing.
You know, Josh Allen definitely had an MVP performance. He had
Mm-hmm.
6 touchdowns. He had 3 on the ground and he had 3 in the air. Even with that, they couldn't overcome the Los Angeles Rams defense. For some
Yeah,
reason,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Rams is kicking up at the right time. They're trying to get that. They're trying to lock up that wild card spot. You know, the Buffalo Bills clinched the playoff spot. So did the Philadelphia Eagles. We clinched the playoff spot. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about that game, though?
Man, I felt like first I want to say that when you control the line of scrimmage, it comes a long way.
It comes
Like
up. Yes, yes.
it comes a long way, and I felt like that was one of the key. That both of the offense was cooking. They did, like,
Mm-hmm.
the Bills still, even though they lost, they still were sticking in it. They was scoring. What's his name? Damn, the wide receiver.
Who?
Shaquille.
Shakir. Yeah, Shakir.
Yeah, yeah.
Shakir.
Yeah, he seemed good as a receiver
Yeah,
on them.
monster.
Like he's like, yeah, like he's staying straight. So like they run the ball well. Josh Allen is he's still a dog. He was running, he had a long another run. He runs well, like more than I ever see him. Like, he
Yes.
always been a hard runner, but now he's taking more of a plate with that,
Yeah.
so but I feel like Matthew Stafford is still he's balling. Nakua, like he's looking like he's showing more than Cooper Cup. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and like Cup is still Cup. You already know we gonna get from him. But I'm thinking Nakua is looking a little bit more. He's that boy because he's fast. He go up. He catch that ball like he's doing his thing. So both offenses was clicking in.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the more thing came down to two things: the controlling the line of scrimmage, and a key defense. And I feel like the Rams defense got more best than the Bills defense that game. They was coming at Josh Allen, like, even
Mm-hmm.
though he had some good runs, but it was a lot of they was coming in, like, they was pushing it back. They had a key stop. I believe they had a key stop or sack or one of those at the end of the game, close to the end. So I think that's what came down to what defense that was going to make
Yeah.
a difference. And the Rams did. Their defense made a difference. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why the point that penalty though at the end, it should have been 44 to 30 something. I don't
I
necessarily
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you, brother.
yeah. I don't necessarily agree because um like, what can you do? Like,
Yeah.
if a receiver, if you're running and a receiver necessarily stop, the
Mm-hmm.
defender's running with the receiver, then he just stop out of nowhere. Like it's hard for you to just stop automatically, like,
Yo, the momentum is
yeah.
hard. It's hard. Yes. Yes.
So I didn't agree with that. And it was like they was getting chances of pass interference, and at the end it should have been 44 to 30 something. That
Mm-hmm.
that should have ended. That I didn't agree with that penalty right there because they came at Josh Allen and that ball was underthrown. To be honest,
Yeah.
the receiver was open. Shaquille was open. If he
Mm-hmm.
would have threw
Mm-hmm.
that ball good enough over, that would have been a touchdown. The Bills would have won. But just because the pressure came in, it allowed Josh. Maybe he got hit at the same time,
Yeah.
and because of that defense, it allowed him to underthrow the ball, and that should have just been uncatchable. The receiver had to stop. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on, like that. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like that call, but they still lost, so it didn't
Yeah.
really matter. So that's why I look at it.
One thing I like. No, my takeaways from this game is that the Buffalo Bills are now 10-3, right?
Yeah,
They look good because Josh Allen found a way to learn how to use his wide receivers. They don't have a Stephon Diggs this year. You know what I mean? So they got a
yeah,
rookie. They
yeah,
got
yeah.
a rookie receiver in Coleman. I can't remember if he played, but they got Shakir and they got what's the James Cook, the running back James Cook.
Yeah. James Cook
Also good.
balling.
He man, he's balling. The downfall to the Buffalo Bills and what I took away from this game is that they better get their defense right. They better get their defense right because this is playoff time. This is playoff time. So y'all got to figure something out defensively. Y'all good on offense, but it's so much time that Josh Allen can bail y'all out. My man had 6 touchdowns in that game. And if the defense would have did something, bro, then I believe that they would have came out with that game. You got to give Matthew Stafford credit though, because at this stage in his career, he's throwing the ball very well. He still got two amazing wide receivers, and on top of that, they both coming from injury. So they stride right now. Puka Nacua hitting the stride. Cooper Kupp hitting the stride. They got a good running game right now. Hitting their stride and everything like that. So shout out to the Rams, man. One thing I can say about them is that they battle every single game because of their quarterback, because of who they got at quarterback. Their defense play their tail off. You know what I'm saying? So my takeaways from that game is that the Buffalo Bills better do something about their defense, bro. They better do something about it. For sure. Another matchup that we can just run through real quick: the Minnesota Vikings versus the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins came back home or whatever like that. Is it safe to say, because you know the Atlanta Falcons, they drafted a rookie quarterback and Michael Penix Jr. Is it safe to say that they might as well just go ahead? Listen, they paid Kirk Cousins X amount of money, right? He got a nice decent contract. They drafted a quarterback in the first round. It was some controversy because Kirk Cousins didn't know that they were drafting the quarterback. Kirk Cousins had a very good season a very good beginning of the season. Towards the end, he started tailing off, started throwing picks after picks after picks. So do you think that it's time for them to make a quarterback switch? Because the Atlanta Falcons got pieces. They got Bijan Robinson, they got Drake London, they got Kyle Pitts, they got a good running game. You know what I'm saying? So they got pieces. So with the pieces that they got, do you think that they should just automatically just switch quarterbacks in this time of the season, or you think they should just roll with Kirk Cousins because they still got playoff implications?
Nah, I kind of feel like they should continue to roll with Kirk Cousins. And the only reason why is because two things. It's not really good on offensive coordinator and for a backup quarterback to come in off you see that a lot. I'm not gonna say it happens. He come in, he do better, he do whatever. But at the same time, yes, Kirk Cousins is having an off game for these past couple of I don't know how much losing streaks they've been on, but these couple of weeks that he's been off. And but you still have a relevant quarterback that he got them to a position that they still have a chance to be in the playoffs. He's still experienced. He's still it's not like they put up points with the Vikings. They put up points. They were scoring. So it's not like they wasn't scoring. They wasn't getting no touchdowns. I mean, they do got Bijan Robinson that was still running the ball well, but it's not like he wasn't moving the chains. He wasn't getting down to that red zone. He's still a veteran. He's still a top. Not want to say the top quarterback as of now, but he's still a quarterback that could do it. Now, is he going to what type of year he's going to have this year? Yeah, not sure. But I feel like he still deserves, because he got them to a chance to make it to the playoff, that still see what he can do. Like, he could turn it around. He could just having these couple of off games. Need to clear his mind. Maybe the offensive coaches need to get into him to get him a little bit more in his game. Like he did have like that interception at the end of the game. He underthrew that ball. He was open. Every receiver was open. He overthrew that ball. So like just those key moments that he's lacking and that's causing him to lose. I feel like he could clean up, because Kirk Cousins, he's still a good quarterback, but he just need to get back into cleaning those type of aspect out of that he are doing. Switching a quarterback, it could be good, but it's like it's gamble, because you're close you are close to be able to make it to. You still could be able to make it to the playoff, and you have a quarterback that he's been there. It's not like Kirk Cousins haven't been in a situation that he's been off and then he turned it around and they got it. He was working with a bad defense in the Vikings for so many years that he had to be like that. He had to play above the sticks, and he had to be, what's the word? Uh uh he had to be close to perfect,
Yeah.
so he had that in him. So this him being like this, I won't say it's surprising, but I'm saying I would say that it's to the point that you like, oh damn, like we used to him turning around to a extent and not continually doing this each and every week. So it's like to some point you gotta have somewhat belief that he's going to turn it around. He's going to like clean up some of the stuff he's doing, but is he? Not sure. So I would say this to end it off with this. I don't think they should go with a backup quarterback now, but depends on what he's due going into the end of the season. If he's going to be their quarterback next season. I feel like he should play off if he could turn it around and get them there. And if he end up losing and now they out of the playoff, send him out, bring the backup quarterback at the end of the season, and see what the backup quarterback could do, even though they're not gonna make it to the playoff, but just to see what you got in that guy. And if he look good on the end of the season, then you could be like, you could roll with him next year. So continue to play Kirk Cousins to see if he could turn it around. If he don't, then bring the backup quarterback to see what you got in him.
Yeah. After I give my final opinion on this, we're gonna run through just the the NFL games. I'm gonna say the scores and everything. We're gonna get right to the podcast portion. But I agree with you 100%. Listen, he's a veteran quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So if you have playoff hopes right now, if you have that wild card hope, then you have to still lean on Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? Even if you drafted a quarterback in the first round, which they did already in Michael Penix Jr., you still got to lean on your quarterback right now. Because at any given time he can have a hot hand. As of these past few games, he hasn't looked good, but I'm pretty sure he'll get it together. This game was very winnable. They could have beat the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, I'm not gonna lie. The Minnesota Vikings, I don't know if they are real because they are also 11-2 right now. They only lost 2 games, but I just don't see enough. They don't look like that team. I don't know. They don't look like that to me right now. But this was a very winnable game by Kirk Cousins. It's just a few mistakes here and there, and you can't go into the playoffs looking like that. You know what I mean? The playoffs is 3 weeks away. So I like everything you said. I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like if let's just say like the last game or two or whatever, and y'all just get eliminated. The last game or two, roll with your rookie quarterback, see what you got, and then start prepping him for next year. Because you already know what you got out of Kirk Cousins. You know what he can give you. You know where his ceiling at and everything like that.
Yeah.
I do feel like you're right. I do feel like he could clean it up, but at the same time, it's like late in the season. So how much cleaning you can really do? And at this juncture of the season. Let me run through a couple of scores real quick before we switch over to the part that a lot of the audience want to hear. So, Jacksonville beat Tennessee 10-6. The New York Jets lost to the Miami Dolphins 32-26 in overtime. The Minnesota Vikings actually beat the Atlanta Falcons 42-21. The New Orleans Saints beat the New York Giants 14-11. That was a super trash game. The Eagles beat the Carolina Panthers 22-16 in a tough game. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who we play next week, beat the Cleveland Browns 27-14. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Las Vegas Raiders 28-13. The Seattle Seahawks beat Arizona. Seattle is on a roll right now. Seattle, they looking good. They beat them 30-18. Buffalo lost to the Los Angeles Rams 44-42. San Fran beat Chicago. That's no surprise in 38-13. it was some controversy with that. I don't know if you heard what Debo Samuel said. He just tweeting on Twitter and stuff like that. Listen, I don't get the ball that much, bro. And everybody commenting.
I think I heard about that. Yeah.
Everybody commenting on it like, yo, you got the most drop passes on your team, and what
exactly. Yup.
You know what I'm saying? So Debo is a diva. He's a diva. They beat him 38-13, and the Kansas City Chiefs, who's just squeaking out these wins all season, beat the Los Angeles Chargers 19-17. So that's it, man. That's the recap for the week